Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. Here I am sitting here chatting away with a wonderful gentleman, and look, it's 8 o'clock. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'd like to remind you, please attend the Symes House annual meeting Thursday, September 18th at 7 p.m. Meeting is at the John Alden Club at 7, and I'll see you there. And the night before the meeting, which is the 17th, Randy Parker is coming on Talk of the Town, and I promise you that show will be very informative. Okay, let's welcome some of our great underwriters. Stoll's Cafe in Manomet, Evolution Salon, Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster, Attorney Trifletti and Costa on Long Pond Road, and underwriter David and Kevin Gallerani, owners of Cape Auto Body and Service right here in Plymouth. Tonight's program is in two segments. First, you will meet someone that is running for a Plymouth County seat. He is seeking a seat as the Plymouth County Register of Probate. Please welcome candidate Joe Truschelli. I always want to say Truschelli, but it's Truschelli.
Truschelli.
And that's Truschelli, and you will see him on the ballot. And I'm so pleased that you are, Joe.
Well, thanks, Karen. I appreciate you guys having me on the show tonight. It's an honor to be on here with you guys.
Oh, it's our honor to have you here, and I ask people that I see a spark with and I know that can do a great job. But first, give us some of your personal background, education, family, and I understand you were in the service.
Sure. Well, to start, I have my wife, Lee, at home right now with our 3 children. I have a 1, a 3, and a 5-year-old. Actually, today was our 5-year-old's first day at kindergarten, so I got the honor of seeing him getting on the bus this morning, which was fantastic.
Yes, it is.
From there, my educational background, I actually grew up out in Western Mass, and I went to Southwick Towne Regional High School. What brought me out here was college. I decided to go to Bridgewater State College.
Nice.
Because they have the aviation program there.
Oh.
At the time, they were the only aviation program in one of the state schools. And being in the Guard, I had the opportunity to have the Guard help pay for a lot of that.
Excellent.
So I went to Bridgewater State College, got involved with the business management side of it, and started working in private aviation. After that, I met my wife. We decided to move to America's hometown. And then more recently, I've decided to pursue my MBA in organizational leadership. So I'm actually doing that at UMass now through the online campus.
Excellent. Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Non-stop.
Non-stop, but I know you can handle it. Why did you decide to run for Plymouth County Register of Probate, and what are you going to bring to the table?
Well, the reason I got involved in this race is I've always had a passion for public service. Like you had mentioned earlier, my background is in the military. I have 13 years, actually almost 14 years now, starting this November, of military service with the Air National Guard. I've been there since 2000. Been overseas now 3 times, and now as my military career is winding down towards that 20-year mark, I'm looking to continue on with public service from this standpoint. And I think that this position offers an opportunity to touch the lives of so many. People don't really look at this position all that much because it is a bottom of the ticket position. A lot of people don't know exactly what the Register of Probate is.
Tell us.
And they so they kind of go over it, and then they skip right over it and go on to the next ballot. The Register of Probate is really the business side of it. The way I've been equating this to people that have been asking the question is most private businesses have, when you talk about their executive board, they have a CEO and then they have a COO. their chief operating officer. And this is equivalent to being the chief operating officer. This is the administrative side of it. This is the business side of the house. This is all of the budget stuff, the staffing, the policy, the public service, the community outreach, the whole gamut of everything that has to do with this, the courts of probate and family law, making sure that it's well organized and operating smoothly with a heavy emphasis on customer service.
Customer service, that's exactly right.
So one of the big things that I bring to the table with this is really my background. You know, it's like the trifecta. I have the 13 years of military service. I've had the honor of working in the private sector in a customer service and sales responsibility, where in private aviation, where anyone who knows what goes into private aviation and all the finite details and how one little piece of the flight that can go wrong can ruin the whole thing and ruin a customer's experience, knows how precious that ability to recover and be able to, you know, promote a better customer service experience is. And, you know, most recently I've worked with the Sheriff's Department in more of a case management position, where I'm working with the reintegration of individuals back into society. I'm currently on a leave, actually, from that position for this campaign.
So you know Sheriff McDonald?
I do. He's a fantastic individual.
Yes, he is.
I've
known him for years.
He's done a fantastic job there.
Yes, and he's well liked.
Very well liked.
Yes, so you worked there.
I've been working there for the last few years. My role is to be able to connect individuals with the services that they need to help reduce the rate of recidivism. And again, you know, something that was brought to my attention from one of my commanders along the way is that no matter what organization you're in, there's always customers. With the military, being in the maintenance side of the house and being on the maintenance operations side, our customers were the pilots and the operations group. From the public service, you know, or from the private aviation side, it was the customer was obviously, you know, the paying client, the end client. And from the public perception of what I did with the correctional department, it was my client is two different people. It's the people that are being released from the facility, as well as the public, and making sure that we provide a safe transition for individuals to leave the facility and hopefully not recidivate.
You know, we worry about that. You know, high-profile cases, Whitey Bulger and all of that, you worry. As a citizen, you wonder, who is in charge of that? Who takes care of that?
Well, luckily, Whitey's on the Fed side, and we
Yes.
don't have
Oh,
to deal. Even though he was housed here in Plymouth County, and you know, that was no big secret. But he was on the Fed side of the house, so you know, we won't be handling his release plan anytime soon.
You know, you're right, Joe. He was on the Fed side. God bless the feds.
But you know, you see a lot of individuals that come through the system that need, you know, maybe just need a little bit of guidance and you know, and it's that ability to work with them from a customer service perspective of, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you get to the next step, or make sure that your experience is the most positive. So when you leave here, you're not basically, you know, when they're leaving the facility, that they're not feeling like, well, the system let me down.
Right. It's very important. You have to have a good network. What about probate?
Well,
that must be so interesting.
Probate and family law, it is interesting because the position really should be the Register of Probate and Family.
I know.
Courts, because you're cutting off over half of the services by cutting off that family side of it. And, you know, unfortunately, the people that come into the probate and family courts, it's typically not at their best. It's when they're you know, a family's either dissolving, unfortunately,
they're in need,
or they've lost a family member, and they're dealing with dividing up the assets, and you know, so you're not getting people when they're at their best. So it's important that when we're handling these people and we're handling their files, that they get treated with the utmost respect. And that we're treating them with white glove service. And that's where my background comes into play. And from the business perspective, like I said, I've been pursuing my MBA.
Excellent.
I take a lot of that information, and I've been able to apply it to this campaign. It's actually been a great opportunity to utilize a lot of the skills and knowledge I've pulled from these classes.
Well, you seem like a natural. I know, for the first time I met you months and months and months ago, you had that spark. And I've been hearing such great things about you. Now, your military background, which says that you're disciplined, and tell us how you will uphold the law.
Well, one thing that I mentioned this back in our one debate that we had is what has been my guiding light along the way from the time I got out of high school and went into the military has been the three core values: that integrity, service before self, and excellence in what we do. And those, if I can maintain those three characteristics, then I know I can, that's how I'm going to operate.
Carry through.
That's how I'm going to carry through on my promises to the community.
Yeah. And you do believe in the law 100%.
I do, and this
upholding the law.
Upholding the law is important, and upholding the judgments that the judges. This can't be handled lightly. The people that are working within the court system are there to do a job. They're there to take the information that's given from the judges and make sure that it's processed properly. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree that the judgments that come down need to be processed as such properly. They need to be handled, and they need to be filed properly, and they need to be maintained. We've seen what happens when people let their guard down on the state level. We saw what happened with DCF. And people take it for granted, figuring, well, you're only handling Plymouth County, the Register of Probate and Family Courts, so you're not necessarily dealing with all these other organizations. But that's not the truth. The truth is that you're going to be working with all sorts of organizations. You're going to be working with DCF. You're going to be working with DOR when it comes to child support payments. And it's important that you can separate the business side of it and the customer service side of it from the legal side of it, and say, okay, well, we have a duty and obligation to uphold what the judges said, and if you're not following through, then we need to make sure that we take the proper steps. But that's no substitute for when someone comes to the door, not treating them with the utmost respect and saying, well, welcome to the Probate and Family Court. What can we do for you?
It can be scary.
It can be.
Do you believe judges should be elected versus appointed?
It's a little bit of a loaded question.
Yeah.
That's a tough question to answer because they're appointed. I would like to see maybe not lifetime appointments.
You're
maybe
right,
they should.
Joe.
Maybe they should come under review occasionally. But I have all the faith in the judges that we have currently and the process that we have. And this might be an argument for another day.
Sure.
This might be another topic that should be breached.
But that was a good idea, Joe, not a lifetime appointment.
It's about accountability. And, and the questions come up over and over again in this election as I've talked to people. They're like, well, don't you think that the probate, that position should be maybe an appointed position? And I say, well, we've seen what appointments do and lifetime appointments to positions do. It's not necessarily the best thing.
I don't think it is.
Having this be an elected position gives the public the ability to tell you, hey, listen, you haven't been doing your job properly, and it keeps you on your toes because now you have to be, this is a longer term, but it keeps you on your toes because you have to be accountable for what you do.
I used to think that it was up to the voters to either bring in someone or, say, no, thank you for your service, we need somebody new. But people don't vote. So I say there should be term limits now, and it's taken me a long time years to come to that. but that's how I feel. You
Right.
don't, you know.
Well, I mean, I think that, first of all, that the public should be the judge of whether or not you're doing your job. The second side of that is, I don't think that any one person should spend a lifetime in one position.
That's
because
right.
I don't think that after a certain point, I believe that you've run your course, and there's someone out there that may have better ideas or new ideas or be able to come in with a fresh perspective, and you may be able to move from that next position to something else. So
Absolutely.
so I would be, and I've always maintained it. And back when I ran for state rep in 2010, one of the things that I had pushed for is that I would try and maintain a certain time limit in office. And to say 2 terms is put a term limit and say, okay, well, every position should be limited to 2 terms. Well, when you have positions that are 2 years, 4 years, 6
Yeah.
years,
No, you can't.
you can't do that. So maybe it's, maybe you spend with this position, maybe it is only two terms, which would be 12 years. With, state rep, which is 2 years, maybe it's 12 years, and then you try and move on to the Senate or move on somewhere, statewide. And then, with some of these other positions that are 4 years, maybe you say, well, 3 terms is so.
But I caught something that you said earlier, and it is so true of people who want to give back. You said that you wanted to give back. You felt that your service in the Army is coming to an end, and you want to continue on giving back. People really have to understand what that means. That is a sacrifice.
It is.
Because it money-wise, on a certain level, when you're
Right.
on even a county level, it's not a whole boatload of money. It's a state rep is not a lot of money.
Right. It is a huge time commitment. And one of the things with having a family that makes it tough is the amount of time that you're with campaigning for a position, the amount of time that you're taking away from your family. And my family has been very accepting to this. My wife has been very, very supportive of this. And she, like I had mentioned at an event earlier this week, she has been my rock throughout this whole thing.
God
and,
love her.
And this campaign wouldn't be what it is today if I didn't have her support.
Sure, absolutely not.
And and my kids, to tell you the truth, I love that my kids are involved in it now because they're understanding the process. They're understanding what it means to go out and vote and why you go and vote and why you make these decisions on who the best candidate is.
Yeah.
And
Informed decision.
and there's going to come a point where I want them to be able to really enjoy their childhood and be able to participate in sports. But I cherish the opportunity to teach them these lessons early in life. So so hopefully they don't forget them when they get older. And hopefully they do continue to vote every single election cycle.
Oh,
and
I know. I
every
missed
election.
one. I was having a baby. So that really upset me.
I guess you got to pass on that one.
Yeah. Now, let's see. Now, you being part of the county, what do you think? Do you know the county commissioners at all?
I do know the county commissioners, and here's a good one because even though this is listed as Plymouth County,
Yeah.
this is actually one of the positions that was taken over by the state. So your budget is handed to you by the state rather than through the county. And I'm kind of foreseeing what the question's going to be. I'm guessing you're asking what my position is on county government.
Well, I actually wasn't going to go there, but that's okay. I know my position, but I'm not important. You don't have to say it. I'm just saying, do you know any of the county commissioners? I used to know them years ago.
Actually, I was on the phone the other day with Dan Pilata and
Dan
Sandra
Pilata,
Wright.
yeah.
So I've been talking to them along the way, and it's good to get their feedback and their thoughts on this, especially with for all intents and purposes, even though it's a state position, you are campaigning in the same territory as them. You still have the same 27 communities, so it's
the thought of it.
It's overwhelming. And then I turn around and I look at the congressional candidate, the congressional candidates that have 40-something towns that they're responsible for.
And they do it.
They do it.
It's
they
amazing.
Are out there.
You're going to have to. You too. You will have a great staff.
They,
Excuse me.
I have to give them a lot of credit for the ability to, every day, they're traveling along the Cape, they're traveling over in Nantucket to
It's a
Martha's Vineyard.
commitment.
They're given a huge commitment. And of course, you have four great candidates on the Republican ticket right now that are running for Congress, and they're from all different parts of the district. You have, I think it's, well, 3 of them right now reside down on the Cape. One of them up in Pembroke.
Ashore
Shores, I think, is down
is Carver.
he was from Carver. I think he lives in Sandwich, doesn't he?
No, he's Carver.
He does live in Carver
I
still?
believe so. I believe he does live in Carver.
Oh, he does live in Sandwich. All right.
Oh, here we go again. The curtains have got me. I wonder if Matt Muratore goes through this, because the curtains are so dusty, it just builds up. No, I wanted to have Dan Shores on tonight, but he's in a debate.
Yeah, they have their second debate in as many nights.
Yes, and tell me the others.
We have Mark Alliegro.
Alliegro.
You have John Chapman.
Chapman. They called
And
the house today.
They've been busy.
They've been busy.
They've all been busy. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look on Facebook and you're following those races, they load up your.
Isn't it amazing? Years ago, nobody had Facebook. Nobody had the cell phones. How was it ever done? It was done door to door, and which I'm sure you're doing anyway.
Door to door. It's going to businesses and standing.
Yeah.
Going to a restaurant and meeting people as they're coming in and saying hello and.
Yeah.
Giving them the perspective. I mean, Facebook is a great tool, and it's a great way to put your message out there for people to see it, because not everyone all the time gets to see you on TV. They don't always get to hear you on the radio. They may have missed you at a town fair or something.
See your children. See you in a very natural state.
So
very nice.
It makes it a lot more open, and it makes it so
homey.
People get to know you a little bit deeper, on a little bit deeper level. They see what kind of person they are, because they see who you're connected to. They see your family members. They see
I saw
what
your
you're
dad
doing.
today.
You did see my dad?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Weren't you in a picture with him? Was that your dad?
No, today?
Yeah.
No, Joe Malone. With Joe Malone and Mike Adams.
Was that Joe Malone and Mike
Joe Malone right now.
Joe Malone is your father?
Joe Malone, my friend from Scituate.
No, I thought it said, I saw the caption said, with Dad and blah, 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 blah.
I'll have to look back at I'm going to have to look now and see when that one was. I'm going to have to take a look.
Oh, boy. So our clock isn't working here, so I have no idea what I'm coming up. We have time. I want to know too. Does a register travel out of state? Do you ever go to Washington? You must.
No, you're in your district.
Element.
You're in your district,
State.
and you'll travel around your state. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there'd be some times where I'd be traveling to different counties and talking to different counties and seeing how they're operating. And
You're going to have a schedule. And this
Yes.
part, this day you go here, and
Right.
don't forget the people out in Western Mass. Oh, well, you're
Well,
Plymouth County, I know,
grew
but
up out in Western Mass.
Yeah.
Actually, I was paying attention to my news feed, and I saw that the acting register of probate she was a fill-in. She was appointed as a temporary appointment. She's seeking election, so I saw that she's running as an unenrolled.
I think you should go out there to visit after you win.
Well, let's hope that we win.
Yes, and you go out there and don't forget them, because you don't know, Joe, if you're going to be running for a higher seat. You never know.
No, you never know.
But I always see that spark. I've been known to do that before. So
Well, I appreciate it, because it can get lonely on the campaign trail, because you don't always know where you stand. But when people can reassure you and tell you, you're doing a good job, it makes it all worth it, and it makes you realize why you're doing it, why you're in these races, and why I'm taking this time away from the family and
you have to like
wife,
people.
because
You have to be a people person.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Now, I want you to tell the people why they should vote for you,
Well,
Joe Truschelli.
the reason that I asked for your vote on September 9th in this upcoming primary is that because of my background, because of the business experience, the military experience, and the education, it's all conducive to what this position represents. And I ask for your support because I know that you deserve better. I know that the people of Plymouth County deserve someone who's going to sit in this position and always reflect back on the people who got them there, who got them into this position, and have a heavy emphasis on customer service, as well as bringing the court system forward technologically, as well as from a community outreach perspective. You know, I've come up with ideas along the way. One of the big ones that I've promoted from day one is that we need to put in a strategic internship program and a partnership with our one accredited law school out of UMass Dartmouth. We have an untapped resource that we could bring up here. There's a whole body of students that needs that experience, and we have the perfect opportunity to put them to good use and get the experience that they need, as well as provide a service to the court so the people that are working there are freed up to provide that next level of customer service.
Excellent idea, Joe.
So I ask for your support, I ask for your vote, and I ask that you visit my website, which is www.truschelli.com, which is spelled on the screen, so I don't have to spell it out, which is good. But please visit that, or visit my Facebook page, which is Elect Joe Truschelli, because you'll get to see what we've been up to, who's been supporting us, and go from there.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much.
I'll be voting for you, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.
The best of luck, and I'll see you after you win.
Yes. Yes. We'll be seeing each other much more.
Yes. Now, as the folks see you leave, Joe Truschelli leave, another guest is going to come on, and I'll hook him up as he sits down, but I want to remind you again that the Symes House is having their annual meeting on September 18th at 7 p.m. at the John Alden Club, and I'll be there, and Kenny will be there. And the night before, Randy Parker will be here talking about the Symes House. And I would suggest you tune in. Now, my next guest, we're really, really good friends, Kenny and I, and we've seen him grow in his position as selectman. He's a wonderful friend. He's a great selectman. Please welcome Matt Muratore.
Good to be here. Isn't Joe a great guy?
Oh, he really is.
And I don't know if you ever met his wife.
No, I didn't have.
His wife is dynamic.
Really?
And he is so right. I mean, you see her there all the time, and she's got those 3 young kids, but she's always there by his side.
Sure.
She is, as you said, she really, really is a rock. So he's just a great guy.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, you're running for a seat. Now, talk about that. And I'm pulling for you. Tell us.
Well, yeah, I'm running for the state rep position that Vinny DiMacedo has held for the last 16 years in Plymouth.
And he supports you for doing so.
He actually, it's a funny story. I was on ATD this morning, and I was talking about this, that he was the one that approached me last summer.
Sure.
And, the thinking out there was the Senate President was going to be, this would be her last term.
Yeah.
So there was, nothing definite, but there was a lot of talk about it. So,
Yeah.
he started thinking about what he wanted to do, and he said, he said, you really need to think of this next step. It's logical.
Yeah.
You're chairman of the Board of Selectmen. It's a good district. So I was really honored when he actually approached me about that. Said, you know what, you would make
I agree.
You would make a good succeeder of the
Yeah.
position that's here. So.
Yeah.
I was really flattered and honored, and
You went
it took
home.
me several months. Yeah, I went home, talked to
You
Kristen
have a
about
wonderful
it.
wife
knock on
and
wood,
family,
yeah.
honest to God.
Yeah, and, we talked about it as a family, and it took us several months to finally come to
back and
looking, I think I
forth.
told you this before, we kept looking for a reason not to do it.
Sure.
And every time we turned over a rock, it was, you know,
It's
yeah,
okay.
it's okay. And the last one was earlier this year, I'm the, as you know, the administrator of Plymouth Rehab,
Yes.
the nursing center
Yes.
across from the library.
Absolutely.
Had a discussion with the operations folks in that company. It's a new company now, so they're out of Connecticut.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
threw this idea by them about me
Yeah.
running for state rep and, you know,
Yeah.
what I would do. Obviously, if I'm fortunate to be elected, it'd be a full-time commitment. But I still love healthcare, and I want to see if there's something I can do, you know, within that company.
Healthcare-wise.
Exactly. And so what we did is we devised a plan where I've been training our director of pediatrics, who's been with us for a number of years, a wonderful woman, Beth Barton. And I've been training for the last 6 months to become a licensed administrator.
You
Because you have to be
have.
licensed in the state
Yes.
of Massachusetts. And she's going to be taking the test in October. And so
That frees you up. Absolutely.
that would free me up.
Yeah.
But if I don't win, if I
Yeah.
don't win,
Yeah.
then we'll make her like an assistant administrator, and she
Sure.
can continue to learn. But if I
Sure.
do, she can take over the day to day, and I can just help in the background or do whatever. So
Yep.
so it was when that happened, and they said, you know, go for it. You know, we'll support you. I had no reason not to anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, I've watched you. Kenny has, many of us have watched you, and you're accessible. You know how to reach across the aisle. I know that's a cliche, but you do it all the time. You don't wear your party on your sleeve. You are for the people. And that's what I like about you. I've seen you calm many situations. And you're a good listener and a doer. You've never not returned a phone call for anybody.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about this on ATD this morning as well. You know, we have a great delegation in this community, and it's, you know, with Representative Coulter and Therese Murray.
He's wonderful.
And Vinny, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they come from different parties, but you would never know it when you see them at the
No.
legislative breakfast together, out in other different events together.
They work
so well,
together.
and that's what it's about.
But they work together also at the State House.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the way it should be. That's the way the people want it.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean you don't make your mind up on any given situation. You have to make decisions.
It's okay to agree to disagree, and they respect one another for that.
Absolutely. Now, tell me some of the successes. I know them as a selectman. And I know, for instance, the guiding principles and how you've managed to be very fair in your deliberations. Talk about that.
Well, you know, my first experience being on the board, there was some, you know, there was a lot of I felt personally that there was a lot of dissension among the ranks in the selectmen, and that there was not a lot of camaraderie within the selectmen, and I'm not used to that. But so I figured that we had to come up with something among ourselves,
Yeah.
so that we're respectful of each other and our decisions and how we deliberate and all that.
Yeah.
And then once we can do that, then we can take it to the next level and to the other committees and boards, and that's how the guiding principles actually evolved.
Yeah.
Because then once you have that stability, then you can open up dialogue and talk about different subjects, like the curbside trash debate.
Yep.
Like the 1820 courthouse and the Plymouth Redevelopment
Yes,
Authority.
yes.
I mean, those were tough issues, but if we didn't set up those guiding principles in our community, we could have never had those open, honest discussions and be respectful of one another and get to where we are on curbside trash and at the 1820 courthouse with a town hall going there.
And the redevelopment authority, that was pretty rocky, but you maintained a very high standard, and I really believe they ended up respecting you a great deal. I know you respected them.
Absolutely, and that's what it's
You never
about.
lost your temper.
No. They took over a tough situation, the Plymouth Redevelopment Authority, and they're all, as individuals, they're all good people.
Yeah.
And they were trying to do the best they could for the community, but they couldn't do it alone.
Right.
And they were singled out as they're on their own. And what we did as a board is kind of let's bring them in together. Let's work on this together. And what's in the best interest of the community? Put all egos aside. and what will be the best interest in the community. Now, not everyone agreed on the selectman side of the PRA side on everything, but at the end of the day, the whole project was agreed to move forward.
Yes.
And that's what was important. But, it all started with respect.
Well, it accelerated when certain people got on that select board. And I will say Belinda was one of those people.
Yeah.
And, I don't like to pick people out, but I like to pay her some respect here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I got to tell you, she was probably, in the short time that I've been involved on the Finance Committee in 2005 until now, she's probably one of the most hardest working and caring individuals I've ever seen as a selectman in the 10 years that I've been involved. I'm sure there have been more over time,
Yeah.
and it's no disrespect for some of the other ones, but she truly cared, and I think in some cases, too much she cared about issues. But she really would research her issues. She understood what the issues were, and she cared about this community.
Yeah, well, I see Tony Provenzano also. I mean, what a smart guy he is.
What a find for this town to have him, particularly as an attorney, and just not so much because he's a lawyer, but how he thinks.
Yeah.
And how he can communicate.
You
what he
can
thinks.
actually see him at a point go, whoa, wait a minute, and he'll say, and it's very profound. But how is your fundraising going?
It's going well. The finance reports just came out yesterday, and we raised a little over $20,000 in the first 2 months.
Holy mackerel, Andy!
We have about
That's
85.
excellent.
We have about 8,500 in the bank at this point.
Yeah.
We had to buy signs and all sorts
Sure.
of advertising. We had to start from scratch. I had nothing to start with.
Oh, yeah.
But we just had an event recently at the Rye Tavern,
I
so
love
we got
the Rye
another $1,000 there. So we're
Yeah.
going to put some more money in.
Right.
We got another event coming up. We're doing the Captain John.
Oh, you
on the
are.
18th, we're doing that
That's
dinner
very
cruise, yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
Kenny and I might do that
it should.
one.
It should. It's going to be 5:30 to 7, so it'll be short because it starts getting dark out early. But we're going to do that on the 18th. We're going to be at Anna's on primary night.
Oh, 18th. I can't go the 18th. Go ahead.
You can change it.
No, I can't. It's a Symes House
that's
meeting.
right. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but so that's the 18th.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then we're going to be at Anna's on the primary night next Tuesday night. We're going to be there.
Oh, excellent.
If anybody can show up,
Yeah.
but we've got a lot of workers out there. Vinny's campaign and my campaign teams are working together to hold signs at the polls.
Okay.
So we're inviting everyone back to
Okay.
thank them. And of course, there'll be a victory party for both of us because we don't have an opposition Republican
Right.
party.
November 9th is
But
your...
November 4th will
Is
be
it 4th?
Yeah. This is going to be
Okay.
September 9th. Yeah. The main election is November 4th.
November 4th,
Right.
Tuesday, yes.
September 9th is a primary.
Yeah, and
So get out and vote.
yeah, I will.
There's going to, and this is going to be a lot of people coming out to vote. I think you're probably expecting 35% in the primary.
Really?
Probably 65% at the general election.
Yeah.
Because it is a governor's year. There's no incumbent governor. And it's going to be a really contested race between the Republican and the Democratic nominees in that. So we're expecting 65% to come out. And as I've told other people this,
so.
I'm not sure I told you this, but in a selectman's race, 10 to 12% of the people come out to vote. In this, 65%. So there's 50% of the population that do not know who I am. So we've always been running this campaign the last 3 months. It's a marketing campaign to get my name out there and name recognition out there. To the other 50% that do not know who I am.
And
It's a tough battle.
It's a concerted effort. Have you been knocking on doors?
We actually started knocking on doors this coming Saturday. We're starting that process.
Good.
We've had a schedule for the last 2 months of every weekend of what we're doing.
Yes.
We've had 3 weeks in a row where we were actually holding signs in different locations throughout town.
Yes.
And so we're doing the door knocking this weekend.
That's
and
so
continue to.
important, Matt.
Absolutely. We're going to start with precincts 2 and 3 and work our way out through the next 2 months.
Tell
Get
us
every
the precincts that you represent.
The precincts we represent is precincts. It's easy to say the precincts we don't. There are 15 precincts. So precinct 1, North Plymouth, is not part of that. That's Tom Coulter's.
Okay.
Precinct 9 in South Plymouth, the Buttermilk Bay area, that's represented Randy Hunt's district.
Randy, well, he's a nice guy.
Nice guy, yeah. And then precincts 11 and 13 belong to Tom Coulter, which is West Plymouth.
Okay,
the
so
rest of
1, 11, and 13.
So it's really the outskirts of the town. It's everything in between,
In
belongs to
between.
this district.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, but people like to look at you in the eye, you know,
Hmm.
and knocking on the door, I know it's so hard, especially with some of those long driveways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the
That's why
south.
we're starting with precincts 2 and 3. They're
Yeah.
always the short driveways first. So we're
know.
going to build up our endurance.
Yeah, build it up because I tell you, those in the ponds.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, so and you have a huge staff that's helping you, huge support.
I really been blessed, you know, with the support and the commitment of the team that we put together. As you know, we've got
Yeah.
about 20 or so people as part of the team. And,
Yeah.
And you know, everyone's pitching in, doing, you know, their part of what they need to do, and
Right.
some people are going just way above and beyond. They, you know,
Yeah.
Steve Lyden, God love him. Every standout we have, he's at.
Yeah,
You know,
Steve
so
is
there are people
wonderful.
like that, Chris Favre, and there's other people that are just
Chris
like that, yeah,
Favor,
that are always there.
he's like
Yeah.
melted to
Yeah.
your side.
And it's tough. I mean, the campaigning in the summer where people are on vacation, it's just
Yeah.
not on anybody's radar screen. But
Yeah.
we're out there doing things, and I had people out there, so I've been very blessed with that.
Yes. If I stand out, I will have to sit because of my back.
Yeah.
But I would, you know, I'll be out there
I can get you a
election
wheelchair.
day. No, you're not. We're going to start that again. No. Now, how's the family holding up?
Great, yeah. Ken was just asking me that too. It's great. You know, we talked about, you know, wives, and Kristen, my wife, is just
She's amazing.
she's amazing. Yeah, we were just talking about the door knocking this weekend,
Yeah.
and she's really she kind of helps coordinate that. She's coordinating that
Yeah.
to make sure we get the right people together, make sure people have their cell phones loaded,
Yes.
because it's all electronic how we're going to do this. And so she's great working with the campaign manager and the team and kind of coordinate this. And I know she always has my back. I mean, I'm not
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not there trying to. I can't get involved in all the details. It's kind of hard to do all that.
Well,
but
the
she does
candidate
that.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
she does all that, and it's great.
You, on election day, it's very important to have those cell phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
That's the old-fashioned way.
You know, and
Got to get out the vote.
Yeah, absolutely. And my campaign manager, Susan Laidlaw, she's actually in North Plymouth. She lives in North Plymouth. She's a family friend, and she stepped forward and she wants to do this. Never done this before, but has done a fantastic job. You know, we've got Laurie Curtis, who you know,
Yes.
and Patrick O'Brien and Chris Favor and other
Patrick's
people who've
a
done this
find.
before.
Yeah.
So they're all there together, kind of helping and supporting. And,
Patrick's wonderful. I've
yeah,
always
absolutely,
loved
yeah,
him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Good,
a-
great advice. Great advice.
Well, you have good, loyal people around you because they know what you're capable of. You don't.
And they tell me what I.
Oh, yes.
They don't tell me what I want to hear.
No.
Sometimes they don't like it, and we're going to tell you something. You know, your
Yes.
speech tonight wasn't so great.
Yeah.
And this is what you need, and that's okay. I need that.
Yeah. But you've never been shy about talking about anything.
No.
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 So it's
No.
not that you're shy about talking about something.
No.
It's you know, listen, you get tired. The best of them get
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah. And it's not. It's not. I tell this to people that are really close to me. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I'm really a shy person.
Yeah.
And as a kid in grammar school and middle school and high school, I was always one in the back of the class, didn't speak.
Really, Matt?
I was petrified.
What changed you?
Didn't want to speak in public.
Yeah.
I don't know what really changed. I think probably when I went to college, I went to Northeastern. I think going to college, and experiencing life as a college student,
Sure.
and I got married young
Yes.
as well, and and had a baby when we were young. My oldest daughter was now 29, and I had to get out there and I had to work, go to college, work 2 jobs, and one of the jobs I had was a director of a function facility in Rockland called the Sons of Italy.
Oh,
And
sure.
I kind of fell into that. I was a bartender.
Yeah.
And so I kind of fell into the job. And so you had to almost become a people person.
Absolutely, you
And,
had to
and,
be.
yeah, I almost came out of it. But to this day, even like being on ATV this morning, even here, I still get nervous coming on TV or being on radio.
On a
I'd rather
live
not.
show,
I'd
you'd
rather not.
rather-
But I've learned to overcome it, and
Yeah.
it's part of the role of being a leader. And you learn to overcome those things, and I've been able to do that.
Well, you're very natural in the way you speak, and you ask great questions. You're not shy about it. And I think maybe being on the finance committee helped you do that too.
Absolutely, it was my best introduction to town government.
You were quiet,
Yeah,
but you were noticed.
but see, that's how I was in school. I always, again, just quiet, kind of sat back. I need to feel my way through first.
Yeah.
I was always afraid to, and I think it's probably just people's upbringing. I was afraid to make a mistake.
Oh,
'Cause in my house,
a
you made
lot
a
of
mistake,
people.
you got ridiculed, and
Yeah.
and it was my parents divorced when I was 9, so it was my mother raising 3 boys. And,
That didn't help
And I was the
either.
youngest of the
Yeah.
3, so it was you always got ridiculed and made fun of by your older
Oh,
brothers.
you were
and all
the
that.
little
yeah,
runt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
you were the kid.
Yeah, so I never really wanted to kind of speak until I start feeling comfortable, because I don't want to come off sounding stupid.
Well,
And I still have some of that, and I try to get over that. But that's why you saw me in the finance committee, not saying too much and just trying to learn
no,
the ropes.
you said, but you were. I didn't mean to say you were quiet. That you didn't say anything. You said very important things, but you weren't you didn't show off.
No,
You did.
no.
You didn't grandstand.
No.
So, but I noticed you because of that. I appreciated it. So,
One thing I've always said as being a selectman, I always say, if you're not on the front page of the Old Colony,
that's
you're doing
great.
a good job.
That's a great
doing a good
thing.
job.
Yeah, I know. It's very difficult. I used to stutter more than I do now. And this show helped tremendously because I worked behind the scenes. When you come out, you have to speak, but I get nervous, and it's. I think it's only natural, and you evolve. And I have a fantastic husband that always took care of me. So but you. Between your fabulous family, the great support you have in friends and your relatives too, they're wonderful. Matt, I know you're going to win. I am
thank you.
so pleased about it.
We're working hard at it. We're doing everything possible. I never want to look back, any election I've ever run, never want to look back saying, boy, I wish I had done that. I wish I'd done that. We're going to do everything possible to win this. And I had I won't mention his name, but a very respected member of the union in town here, one of the unions.
Sure.
And he sent me a text after the last campaign, and I'll never forget it. And I have that still, because it helps me remind me to keep working hard. And it just simply said, congratulations on your win. I've never seen in all these years I've been here somebody work so hard to become a selectman, and you deserve it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I keep that because it pushes me more to know, what, you have to, there's days you don't want to, you just days, what, I just want a day off, but you know what, no, you got to go out there and you got to keep pushing it.
Yeah,
People respect that, I think they appreciate that.
see, I could see you going on. It's very hard.
I never thought I'd be a selectman, never mind.
I know
running
you
for state
didn't.
rep. Don't push
I
me
know,
on anywhere
I know.
else.
Well, you don't know that, Matt.
You
You're
never
still
know.
a
You
young
never
man.
know. You never know where life's going to take you. And I was just talking to Canada, but you can't put a square peg in a round hole. You just can't. It has to happen naturally.
And you have to want it.
You have to want it. Yeah.
And
And I think there's people out there just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen at the selectmen's meeting between John and I. And
No,
you know what?
it's great.
It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just because we have too much respect for one another.
why would it have? Why should it happen? It mustn't happen.
No.
He doesn't have that personality,
neither
and
do
neither
I.
do you.
No.
So is a fundraise? Are you going to fundraise? I'd like to go to one of them. I think I
there'll
was
be
at
plenty.
one of them.
Yeah, there'll be plenty. Trust me. We do this road show where we start in North Plymouth and work our way down. We're doing a little different this time. We're actually looking for people to host events. Because in this race, selectmen's race, you raise $10,000, $12,000, but in this you need $40,000 to $50,000. So you really got to try to hold back on what you need to spend. But if you can get host family or host people to actually host something in their house or host something at a restaurant, like Dr. Gillard held the
what a
event at
nice
the Rye
man he
Tavern.
is,
The
yeah.
urologist, very nice guy. He offered to host the event at the
Sure.
Rye Tavern and invite people to come
Yeah.
and that's how you meet newer people. As I said, there's 50% of the people don't know me. So if I just kept having the same events as Selectman, the same people would show up.
Yeah.
By having other people host, it actually brings on new faces
That's a
out.
great thought.
Yeah. Like the Mirbeau. I don't know if you're at the Mirbeau event.
No,
or
I
not.
didn't go to the
The
Mirbeau.
Mirbeau, I was really nervous speaking at that event and when I first got up there. And I was just talking to my friend Bob Hollis, because Bob was there. And afterwards, I said, geez, Bob, I was just so nervous. He says, don't worry about it. He says, people see you as a real person.
Yeah.
And that's what I respect. And but I figured out the reason I was nervous is because I didn't know a lot of people in that room. I'm more comfortable talking to people I know. And it goes back to my background as a kid.
Sure.
Just be quiet. There's new people I don't know. I don't want to look stupid.
Did they
But
come
it was
up
good.
to you afterwards?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially one of the things I've been talking about with my healthcare background is mental illness. And I
there's
think
too much of that around.
There is, and I've been talking about this for a while. Peter Holden, the president of the hospital.
Yes.
He's a great visionary for things like this, and
Yeah.
they're putting some stuff together at the hospital now. But I think we need to talk about it more. The thing with
Thank you,
the
Matt.
thing with Robin Williams,
Yes.
what a tragedy
God
that is.
bless
But you
him.
know what? There are a lot of Robin Williams stories out there every day. And we talk about lung cancer, we talk about Alzheimer's disease,
Heart
we
attack,
talk
yeah.
about Parkinson's, we talk about all these things, but we don't want to talk about mental illness. It's a disease, just like those other things.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about it.
Yes,
We've
it is.
got to get rid of the stigma so we can talk about it and deal with it.
Well, that's what it was years ago, Matt, and then they let them all out and they put them out in the street and they suffer so, and
And primary care physicians don't know how to take care of them. They don't. We need to encourage more students to be going to be psychiatrists. I believe Peter Holden told me that in the Commonwealth, there's only about 100 psychiatrists.
that's it?
That's it. There needs to be more. There needs
Stop.
to be I think every primary care physician's office should have a psychiatrist with them, because the primary cares don't know what to do, so they give them medications and send them off.
Yeah,
So
no,
we need, and it's
to
not,
mask
I don't think
it.
it's adding more dollars either. It's looking at the healthcare dollars that are there and how can it be shifted.
I think that's an excellent plan. I like that because I understand it, and most people do. We don't talk about it, you know?
No, we don't. We talk about guns and we talk about homelessness and we talk about, drug addiction, but all of it is related to the root cause, which
Yeah.
is mental health.
Is what made that boy snap all of a sudden when he was 14? Well, it could have been puberty, and he never came back, and people just don't talk about it.
They don't, but it's okay to talk about. It's okay to talk about.
Yeah. So
A
you
lot of
would do
millions
that.
have mental illness.
I think that's a wonderful thing to bring to the table, Matt.
Oh, and that's what I started to say. And I have people coming up to me and talking about that. Every time I talk about this,
Yeah.
thank you so much for talking about it. I have mental illness, or my daughter does, or
Yeah.
my husband does.
Yeah.
And this is what... we have to open up the dialogue, and the more people that can talk about it, if I can be that voice to get more people to talk about it,
I think
and come up
that's a
with some solutions.
wonderful, wonderful, sincere issue. You didn't
absolutely.
pull that out of the
No.
air because you do it.
Absolutely, I see it all the time, and I almost guarantee you, everyone knows somebody with a mental illness.
Yeah, my auntie.
Everyone does, but they don't like to talk about it. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
She was so sweet.
People have cancer. They unfortunately sometimes they lose hair or something, so you can see that.
Yeah.
But the mental illness you can't see.
Well, it's that saying, just because you don't see it doesn't mean I'm not suffering.
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's right.
And you know that, Matt. You work in the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so tell the people what you're going to bring to the table.
Well, I hope to bring exactly what Vinny has brought is a collegiate effort of working together with the, again, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, but working together as a delegation in Plymouth. If I'm fortunate enough to be elected, working with other, reps around the state, no matter what their background is, and, for the betterment of the Commonwealth, but also particularly, for Plymouth and what's in the best interest of Plymouth. We've got the 400th anniversary coming up, And again, it's convincing people this isn't just a Plymouth event. This is a event that will benefit everyone in the Commonwealth and everyone in the United States. So,
Right.
fortunately, I've been able to go to Shishikahama, and I've been able to go to Plymouth, UK a couple of times, and you can see a building that's
Yeah.
going to be not just a United States event or Plymouth event or Commonwealth or Mass event. It's going to be a worldwide event. So,
Right.
I think getting people excited about that. But what it does, it brings the economic development into the whole area. Again, not just Plymouth.
That's right. I remember first talking about this and saying it's 10 years away.
Yeah, and now look at it.
Oh, dear.
5 years away before the first
5 years,
event.
and you blink, when
Yeah,
time is over.
yeah.
But I know you're going to make your time a worthwhile and beneficial for the people of Plymouth.
That's one thing I do no matter what it is. I work hard at it. That's the only way I know how to do it, is to work hard at it. I'll give it, my 110%. But I don't do it alone.
Yeah.
I need people to, like yourselves and other people, to
Yeah.
give input.
Yeah.
I'm always open-minded about everything.
I know you are.
and-
Sometimes that drove me crazy, but
I
you
know,
did.
But you have to weigh both sides.
know.
To weigh both sides of issues.
I know. That's why you're better than I am. No, I mean, I don't know how you do it. It's hard to do.
I have opinions of certain things, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that I can't, change my mind or tweak things the way.
But
they
you're
need to
not
be.
sneaky about it,
No,
Matt.
no,
You've
no.
never been
No.
behind someone's back or, sneaky about the way you go about things. That's a total turnoff.
Yeah, no.
You're out front.
Yeah, that's one thing people know about me, that the other 50% that don't know me out there.
Do you
is that
really
I'll be
think it's a 50%?
Yeah, there's about, if you look at the last elections, particularly 8 years ago,
Yeah.
when the governor was actually running, he wasn't governor at the time,
Yeah.
65% of the population came out in the Commonwealth.
All right, so why do you think 50% don't know you?
Well, I just go by the stats of saying, 10 to 12% vote in an election, in a regular selectman's election.
So
and this
the
election is going to be
regulars.
65%.
Yeah.
So there's 50% of people that don't vote in a selectman's
So
election.
you don't think they pay attention,
Well, I think some of those people do. I think, if you look at the old colony, only 30% subscription there. So you get more people that vote that actually read the paper. It's hard to tell how many people online and all that. If you're just looking at the raw numbers, you say about 50%. Maybe it's only 30% or something. But whatever it is, it's a large number that's needed.
Knock on those doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long do we have, Kenny? 1 minute. Oh my God,
Time flies, huh?
I wasn't even ready for the beginning of this program. I was talking to Joe, and we were having such a great time. I wish you
Thank you so much.
the
Thank you for having me on
very
again.
best. You'll be on just before election,
Thank you.
and I'll give you the whole hour.
Come back anytime.
Oh, thank you, Matt, and I so appreciate it. And, next week, Jeff Cohen and Dan Raposa is going to be on, and we're going to have wine and cheese. We're going to have a good time. So tune in then. See you in 7. That was great. You did wonderful.